I'll confess that I don't often associate the name Nissan with luxury. After all, they have their own luxury sub-brand, Infiniti. But this vehicle seems to break that stereotype I've been holding. It is the 2025 Nissan Ariya, and this is the top spec as well. It's beautiful, it's fully electric, and really quite luxurious. Get in. This is Family Wheels. This is just one good-looking vehicle. I think it's one of the best-looking automobiles out there, electric or otherwise. Just the way the front end, everything in the middle, and the back end are all in harmony. They don't look like every other vehicle on the road, particularly EVs. It's just a real success. Here at the top spec, by the way, we have the lovely gold paint job on the bottom and a shiny black top. The interior of the Ariya is also handsome, particularly at this top spec, of course. Heated and ventilated nap leather seats, but it's in this lovely medium blue that carries over into the trim, a suede effect, 12-inch control panel, some buttons down on the dash. I do have one sizable complaint about the interior, and that is this strip along here at the bottom of the dashboard is in a plastic that is trying to look like wood. It's really fake looking. Also, the fake wood trim is repeated on the top of the console, and again, it just looks tacky. There are some controls here embedded in that panel, and that includes the drive mode. In this case, the self-parking feature is controlled here, and then what they call E-Step, which is regeneration in Nissan E's. There is a wireless charging pad underneath here. That doesn't come on all trims. However, all trims do get wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. Good on Nissan for doing that. There's quite a spread in range for the Ariya, depending on whether you get the 63 kilowatt hour battery version or the 87 kilowatt hour version, and then front wheel drive or all wheel drive. The level 2 charging, that is your typical at-home charger, 240 volt. The onboard charger, its fastest acceptance rate is 7.2 kilowatts. And that was okay a couple of years ago, and it isn't now, because you've got chargers on board that can take in as much as 11 kilowatts. Also, there is an issue with the DC fast charging. The speed limit on that is 130 kilowatts, which again in 2023 was basically just fine. But now we have things like 800 volt architecture on some vehicles and intake rates north of 200 kilowatts. You can get as little as 214 horsepower in the Ariya with the small battery, front wheel drive only. Here at the top spec, we've got all wheel drive and the larger battery, 389 horsepower. And it's got impressive acceleration. Like many an all-wheel drive crossover and SUV, the Ariya heavily favors front-wheel drives. If you want to get around that, you put it into sport mode. So let's take it through a series of curves and see how it does. It does very well indeed, actually. And let's go through a flat 90-degree bend. A fair bit of understeer, but it's not really plowing. The brakes work just fine. They're well controlled, well modulated. However, there is a problem with a mushy brake pedal. There's a fair bit more travel than a lot of other vehicles I've driven. I find it disconcerting. Let's take the Ariya down our neighborhood bumpy road and see how it handles the patches, potholes, and speed bumps. And it handled those sizable irregularities quite well. Kudos to Nissan for a fairly long list of standard features. That is, they're available on all trims of the Ariya. Adaptive cruise control, steering assist, front and rear parking sensors, Sirius XM capability, wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, front and rear heated seats, and a heated steering wheel, all standard. Let's look at value for a moment. In typical Nissan fashion, there's a bewildering array of trims and sub-trims and packages available. But to keep it simple, this is in Canadian terms, we're going from about $50,000 to more than $66,000, a spread of more than $16,000 between all the trims. So where's the value? Even at $66,198 for the, let me get this right, Evolve Plus E-Force with Platinum Plus and Premier packages. Maybe I got that right. I don't know. It's very complicated. But what we're getting to is more than $66,000 MSRP. That's before delivery. And when you get into that area, you're starting to have competition from genuine luxury vehicles. This is fairly luxurious inside, but is it a luxury crossover slash SUV? It really isn't. But I think the value lies at the lower end of the spectrum, that $50,000 less $2 starting price. You still get quite a few good features. Yes, you get the smaller battery and you pay a lot less. You want more range, you want more power, you get the larger battery. I think the value for the Ariya is at the lower end of its price range. The Nissan Ariya passes our family wheels child seat test. Behind me, the kind of child seat that takes up the most room, rear facing. Up front, well, I'm 5 feet 11 inches tall, 180 centimeters, and there's a decent amount of room between my knees and the glove box door. There's plenty of room for 2 adults in the back of the Nissan Ariya. I've readjusted the front passenger seat to provide a lot more room for me. Yet here in the back, there's all kinds of room between my knees and the back of the seat. However, I will note that the bottom of the seat tends to press a little bit on the feet. As far as niceties go, at this trim, we've got everything. Heated rear seats, 2 USB-C ports, and a panoramic moonroof. I'm quite impressed with the style, the luxury, and the EV performance of the Nissan Ariya. But what do you think? Leave a comment. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, and thanks for subscribing. I'm Richard Detman, and I'll see you next time on Family Wheels.